Love the pink finger countdown from Jordan Klein. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Odd Shopper presented MLB Live Before Lock. I'm Eric Lindquist, excited to be talking a little bit of the baseball streets here today. My debut for that for this season. Obviously, I covered it last year, but coming in strong, and I get to hang out with my buddy, the guy that I did a lot of shows with last year, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of shows with this year. His name is Gundacker. Gundacker. My dude, how are you this fine morning?
I thought they would never put us on a show together again, but they messed up.
Oopsie.
What's up, man? You went to watch some golf?
Yes, I'm very excited to watch some golf. So, for those who don't know, Thursday, Friday, I was very, very fortunate to be able to be a patron of the Augusta National Golf Club. Got to go hang out. No big deal. Just got the mugs, got the flags, got freaking polos for everybody I know, including one Jordan Klein, because, he asked. But, regardless, it was an incredible time. Cannot possibly put into words how incredible that place is. If you love golf, you have to go one day. You just have to find your way to make it happen in some way, shape, or form. But this is, of course, the baseball streets. We'll have the NBA streets later this afternoon. I'll be on the deeper dive doing the analyst chair, but I'm hosting this one, which is great because it's just getting your sea legs under you talking baseball for the first time, looking at all the metrics and setting up my spreadsheet this morning. It was just, my brain could not comprehend what I was looking at, mainly because there's a lot of new players for new teams and maybe should have done some of that work ahead of time. But hey, regardless, we're set to go. Are you ready to jump right into this, Gundacker?
Let's do it.
All right. Smash that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. That also goes a long way. I would love to have some baseball shows. I mean, if you guys want us to keep firing, we're going to keep doing them regardless, but I would just love some like buttons, getting this thing up over 200 here in the early going. That would be a great start for us. So 200, we've got 285. I know that's ambitious, but it takes you 2 seconds. Smash that as we get going here. Oakland, 3.4 implied runs at Philadelphia. 5.1 total, 5.1 implied runs here for them. This first game right off the bat, this Oakland team is just completely different iteration than we've seen in forever. My favorite hitter in the entire lineup, long-term, is going to probably be Steven Piscotty. I guess with positionality, Sean Murphy, who can DH and kind of be situated there. But my God, it is just a cream puff matchup for every team going forward. And Zach Eflin, super low walk rate historically, a guy who, can limit some hard contact. The expected velocity coming off the bat, only 87.9 all of last season. Those are good numbers. I don't mind some Zach Eflin. How about you, Gundacker?
Yeah, and I'll say we got to day 3, day 4 levels of pitching real fast.
We did.
and when that happens, I tend to just find the weakest teams, and Athletics right now look like a team that I'm just going to lean on every slate. Just ridiculous strikeout numbers in this lineup. Once you get past Tony Kemp and Elvis Andrews, you get a bunch of 25, 30, and 40% K rates against righties. So what we're seeing are guys will accidentally get strikeouts against this squad. So Zach Eflin definitely at 7,700 is going to be one of my highest owned pitchers.
Yeah, it's hard not to have a ton of interest there. Again, one of the things you can do early season too, to just really kind of what's the right word? Just really to not have to make super strong stance, just kind of educated way of going about your life is looking at implied run totals. Who's the lowest on the board? Taking some of the strikeout rates out of consideration, just from an aerial view. And Zach Eflin, 42.8% rostership right now over on DraftKings. He's the highest owned pitcher at 7,700. I think that is appropriate that we're looking at for him. No doubt about it. Oakland, long term. I mean, you just look at this lineup. Tony Kemp, Elvis Andrus, who is not the Elvis Andrus of his Texas days, just really struggling in Oakland, was a back half of the lineup guy there. Christian Pache, I'm kind of excited to see this guy play a little bit as well. Some pretty good advanced metrics we're looking at for him. But I mean, Kevin Smith, Stephen Piscotty, Seth Brown. I mean, all these guys are going to have, well, Stephen Piscotty, low K rate, but Sean Murphy, Seth Brown, just going to be guys who get a lot of Ks. And so I think you're going to be targeting this team a lot as the year progresses. On the other side here, Dalton Jeffries. I don't know a lot about this cat. Why don't you introduce the world to him?
For Jeffries last year, I got just 15 innings of big league sample size. So there's not a lot to lean on. He had a 4.94 Sierra. So he was a little bit luckier because he only had a 3.6 ERA, a 4.03 expected ERA with just a 1 whip on a 13.8% K rate, 8% swing and strike rate. Again, I can't beat him up too much, and I can't think that he's going to go free falling into regression too much because of how shallow the sample size is on those big league numbers. With that said, this Philadelphia team is stupid, like just insanely good. So I just don't have a lot of interest in pitching anyone against them for the most part. So it probably will also not be an uncertain click on Jeffries, and I will get the Philly stacks because this lineup is crazy.
Yeah, well, I was going to be crazy today and play both DraftKings and FanDuel, and I had to realize really, really quickly, I have a come to Jesus moment, and just playing DraftKings for my first day back here, just going to play the mini max and just rock out with that and play my 150 in that. I think that's a good section. I'll probably put one, twin stack, kind of a necessity twin stack that I'm going to have to throw in every single day. Not a bad way to go about your life, but looking at this Oakland side, telling you, there's just not a lot to really have a ton of interest in. You have Sean Murphy batting 3-hole at catcher spot, 2 guys at catcher spot, both him and Austin Allen, gaining a little bit of attention there. But I don't know that you could call anything here a priority or even like remotely close. Tony Kemp has some speed once upon a time. Playing second there, 3,400. I don't really think that's a necessity. Anything from the Oakland lineup interest you whatsoever?
No.
Cool. Philadelphia. We're looking over at them. There's no point in like just talking about nothing. I think we got to be talking about them almost every single day because you add Kyle Schwarber into this lineup. That stack looks so good. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Nick Castellanos, Bryson Stott. I mean, these are some power guys that we can be looking at long-term. They've got lefties, they've got righties, they've got power. They are good. Who are your favorite bats to get to here?
So I am taking a peek at Jeffrey's minor league campaign 2 seasons ago. Looks like he lets up a decent bit of homers in the minors, 38 innings against lefties, 7 bombs, 38 innings against righties, 6 bombs, 280 plus to 300 average, a 1.3 whip aggregate. He's it doesn't look like he was that good. So everyone on the Phillies fills out nicely, especially if he's going to continue to have a little bit of power problems. Kyle Schwarber leading off. I like to think of leadoff Schwarber as a mythical creature that I will never fade. So he's right there. Bryce Harper's
there
right
it goes.
there.
It's beautiful.
Casty's there. So I think 1 through 5, even Hoskins got some pop back yesterday. So 1 through 5, the priorities, and the guys in the bottom, they fall, but definitely 1 through 5.
If he dies. Let's just keep going along. Then again, we have the top stacks tool, top pitchers tool. Some of the best tools I think that we have here at Awesemo. Give those a look here. We're going to talk Odd Shopper a little bit later, but we're going to cover these game by game. At the very end, we'll kind of go through our top pitchers, top stacks, and get ourselves out of here. If you guys have questions, go ahead and ask them. We don't have a deeper dive into a live before lock. This is the first iteration, I'm assuming, of that this season, but maybe not, who knows. But regardless, we're here to give you all the info. Let's just keep it on going here. Chicago White Sox, 4.1 implied runs at Detroit, 3.9. Detroit getting Austin Meadows, just still mind-blowing to me. That they were able to pull off that heist. But regardless, Detroit, maybe a better lineup than you might be thinking. But I'm excited to watch this game if for only one thing, and that is Michael Kopech. I'm excited to see him back on the mound. He's 5,600 on DraftKings.com. On FanDuel, I don't think you need to give a whole lot of consideration, but on DraftKings, I might have an absurd amount of interest in this guy against the Detroit lineup that, yeah, you add a guy, you've had some power in Austin Meadows, a really solid bat in Austin Meadows to that team. but I still think it's gettable here. Only a 3.85 implied run total. Are you excited for Kopech Day?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the pieces of the sale trade, right? Or yeah. So I'm going to take some shares on him. When it comes to the Meadows trade, I don't know that Tampa Bay's ever lost a trade. So whenever they did that, my immediate reaction was, what's wrong with Austin Meadows? Because Tampa is probably the smartest office in the room.
Yeah.
So with that said, I got to trust the numbers that we got. And Meadows is pretty doggone solid. So he'll fall here and there. I didn't have early enthrallment with stacking the Tigers, but you put the White Sox against anyone that throws with their left hand, and I will definitely rank them as one of my top stacks of the day, especially a guy like Skubal, who does have decent strikeout potential. Last year, 11.5% swing and strike rate, a 26% overall K rate. And, that's some good redeeming numbers, but his downside was big barrel numbers and big home run problems, especially to righties. And there's a lot of righties in the White Sox. There's a lot of righties with power and a lot of righties that love hitting lefties. So White Sox are going to look like one of my favorite stacks on the slate.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, that's kind of jumping into that. I mean, I really don't mind them at all. You just have power, you have speed, you have a number of guys who are good at baseball. That seems like a team I want to stack up. Looking at the top stacks tool here today, I mean, you're going to have we'll get to Cleveland. I'm excited about that talking point. But looking at the rest of the board, it's not a team that's garnering a ton of attention. 5.5% top stack percentage, only 3.7% ownership share. I'm very happy getting some leverage on getting to the White Sox, a team that's pretty easy to stack up. We saw Yasmani Grandal go yard yesterday, I believe. I mean, a team that has power at the catcher position as well. Very useful. On the other side of this one, though, do you have any any interest in stacking up Detroit in this one?
No.
Really? I mean, I like Kopech. I think that he's a guy that I just have to be taking shots on the raw arm talent that existed once upon a time, and we hope we see a little bit of it here. But I have Detroit interest. He could just be bad again.
I mean, he could, but he was pretty solid last year. I mean, I guys that come out of the bullpen and get planted as a starter is definitely a risk. They could look sharp the first time through, and then fatigue starts catching up with them. So like, I don't think it's a crazy thought, but I try to keep it pretty concentrated. If I look through my crunch and I see some sprinkles of like Austin Meadows, sure, I don't mind that. But
okay.
And Spencer Torkelson, I still think his price is something we can attack early in the season. It should go up as he evolves, but for the most part, I'm more on the White Sox bats here. I don't really think I'm going to get too much Tigers.
Okay. Any Skubal interest, a guy that can generally rack up some games. I'm saying this is a guy you got to talk about.
Yeah. Just because this slate feels kind of shallow at pitcher and not a ton of these guys have a bunch of built-in strikeout metrics. If you wanted to, throw a potential, 26% K rate guy into the mix, go for it. And it's probably irresponsible of me to not at least hedge these White Sox stack that I'm in love with a little bit of what if Skubal goes off here. So yeah, I think you could put him in the mix. Right now, I don't have him in my mix, but that's because I'm just a sucker for these White Sox against lefties.
Yeah, we got the boss man hopping in. Kopech really didn't pitch much in spring training, only 2 innings in each start. That's kind of what I'm getting at is, he's basically taking this reliever role early on here. I don't know what the pitch count's going to look like here. I got to assume I'm still going to have a little bit of interest. I guess 16%, there's no leverage to really be had there, but he's so cheap. 5,600 allows me to get every bat in all of Earth to be able to get into some lineups and stack up some teams I really want to get to. So I think he's got some utility on this slate, I would say, even still. Probably don't want to go crazy with him by any means, especially, if he's only going to see 4-5 innings, something of that kind of nature. But I will say, I don't completely hate stacking up Detroit. I might like them a little bit more than you do here. I know that they have 1.9% top stack potential, 0.7 ownership share, but it could turn into a bullpen game. Not the most profitable spot to target in the event that, Kopech's not going out there forever, but just wanted to at least kind of throw it out there. Anything else for you in this game?
If it does turn into a bullpen game pretty quickly, you probably won't see Aaron Bummer taking out a lefty. Maybe Tanner Banks, he hasn't pitched yet. Caleb Freeman, guys like that. So if it turns to a bullpen game, I mean, all bets are off. We don't quite know what we're getting. And if it becomes a matchup based 3 outs, then what sees what you get. And I'm just not that enthralled by the Tigers overall in this slate.
Well, bets on PrizePicks. We have the opportunity to play over there. We're using Odd Shopper now. We just got the PrizePicks Parlay Builder. I'm excited about that. I know it's available just for NBA right now, but wanted to kind of talk about Odd Shopper throughout this show and looking at some of the MLB bets that we have over there. I was having a blast going through some of the AL Rookie of the Year props that we have up for some things. We have some amazing data, amazing bets that you have the opportunity to look at on the front page of the MLB bets as we're going. Plus, every single one of these games, you can find some positive spots to get to, some best projected ROIs put directly up on the page for you. I'm really excited about all of the MLB betting tools that we have for this season and implementing them. Again, the PrizePicks Parlay Builder, looking forward to some of that utility. Check it out here as we're going along with this show. Next game, next up, Baltimore, 3.5 implied run total at Tampa Bay, 3.5. Pretty close game that we're looking at here in this one. I'm excited to see Corey Kluber back on the mound here, Tampa Bay. Looking forward to this one. Corey Kluber, Yankee legend Corey Kluber, right?
Hey, he threw a no-hitter in pinch, in Grays, but
yeah. Just saying, Corey Kluber, beautiful stuff up against Tyler Wells here. What are you looking at in terms of pitchers in this one?
I mean, the heart wants to take a shot on Kluber, 7.4 on DK. If he lands into 14, 16 fantasy points in an SP2 spot, I'll let it land. In my first slice and dice of the pitcher player and pool, I didn't have any, but I think I'm going to throw him in the back end here, maybe cap him at 10%, see what happens. The Orioles line up a little bit scrappier than I pegged them out to be yesterday. Mountcastle got into one, and then strikeout-wise, Cedric Mullins and Santander aren't easy outs, but the rest of this lineup does give you a little bit of strikeout potential. Last year, Kluber did find a 12.5% swing and strike rate, but just a 24% K rate, so I wasn't able to cash in on them. But maybe under Kevin Cash, you can cash in on him on a new pitching.
Oh my God!
So
the wordplay. No,
hey,
I mean you can't just say the exact word; it has to sound like it. That's how this works, right? You can't say the exact word.
I don't know the rules, man.
Them's the rules, my friend.
I'm not conforming to your rules of segues, bro. No, but I'll get to a little Kluber.
All right. Well, wanted to just call you out. We need it rhyming. Mash and cash. We could mash more with cash or something like that. But I'm just coming up with the rules as we go here. They're not set in stone. Looking at the other side of this one, though, you have Corey Kluber interest. Can I get you on board with any Tyler Wells in your life?
I mean, his strikeout stuff looks good. I know he's one of those guys coming out the bullpen too. So we just talked about, relievers turning into starters. You just never know. But his strikeout acumen looks pretty solid. He had a 3.37 Sierra last year, 3.57 expected ERA, a sub-1 whip. You're usually going to get sub-1 whips from guys in bullpens. They're being brought out for plus matchups. So I think, the element of the unknown this early in the season, if you're willing to take a stab at Kopech, I think you should have at least an idea of taking a couple of shots at Tyler Wells. Hope for hitter points at that price point, 10 plus, 12. Maybe you can sneak into a 14, 15. Not implied for the win, heavily implied for the loss. And the Rays the Rays are implied to put up some runs, 5 of them. Yeah. So it's pre-flop. I can understand the process not getting you there. Right now, he wasn't in my first cut, but it's one of those. I don't know enough, and I don't. I don't need to get there, but if you did think that he could fill a role, he's a strike thrower.
Well, I'm looking 8.6% top 2 pitcher percentage, 0.5% ownership. I don't know what the innings are going to look like. I know we have Bauman, who on DraftKings is at least listed at 5,700, going to be the long reliever or projected to be the long reliever. But I think they basically said that is going to be the case. So, I mean, I don't know what the innings are going to look like, but he's cheap. He's the cheapest pitcher you have that I think I want to play. I'm not going to play Spencer Howard, God forbid. I'm definitely looking down at Tyler Wells, Kopech as guys to possibly get to the year. I don't think we need to take the Bauman shot, mainly because I don't think you're getting over 3 innings in any scenario there. But I'm just looking at ways to get a little bit different here. It's early on in the season here as well, as people are kind of refining their process. Maybe some more dead lineups than normal. As the season goes along, as we get more data, it gets tougher. You get the dog days of summer. We're not in them. It is early season baseball. Make good lineups. Let's talk some hitters here from this one. As you talked about there, Baltimore, always a team that has some power. I found myself surprisingly stacking them up quite a bit last season. Trey Mancini, Ryan Mountcastle. The worst thing you can say is it's a terrible ballpark. The best thing you can say is you never know what version of Corey Kluber you're going to get. Generally, he's good, but you don't know. Gundacker, any Baltimore interest?
Not much.
Like one-off Trey Mancini, 2,900. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I mean, if we go off of Kluber's problems last year, he did leak up a couple homers to righties. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that would fit into your Mountcastle if he stays hot after yesterday. Mancini is a professional hitter, sure. Early on, it's sprinkles, no stacks. Sprinkles are for winners.
I love sprinkles on little cupcakes. Brandon Lau, Wander Franco, they're really good at hitting baseballs. 10.9% owned, 6.3% for Wander Franco there. Rosarena, Mike Zunino, always fun because he's hitting homers or he's not. You kind of know what you're getting in that department, but I don't mind incorporating him quite a bit into stacks, even at 4,100, mainly because you're going all or nothing there. What stands out to you from this Tampa Bay lineup?
Yeah, Brandon Lau leading off. Yeah. That's what you want. 274 ISO against righties, almost a 900 OPS. He will strike out, but his barrel rate and all the other underlying metrics are really doggone high. So if he can jump on a first pitch fastball, something like that, somewhat over the fence, get the party started. I'm in, and just a really talented team, especially at the top of that lineup. Wander Franco backing him up here. So I do like it. I think we're betting on talent more than the metrics early on here against Wells. If we do follow up from last year, Wells did have a home run issue to righties, but I'm willing to forgive him a little bit, especially if a lot of those are old Camden Yard homers and not Tropicana. But I think this is a really talented team with a high run total, so I'm going to get there by default.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Camden Yards plays this year. I think everybody is, just in terms of how they changed the fences. Looking forward to that. We'll see once we get there into Baltimore. Anything else from this game whatsoever, Gun?
No.
Okay.
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just, got to ask you questions. That's how this works, is that, I ask you the questions, you give me the answers. Even if they're terrible questions, you smile and you do it anyway.
Yeah.
I apologize. Celebrate the return of baseball with $1 MLB Express Weekly Pass. Pass includes player rankings, ownership rankings, lineup builder, and our expert Discord chat. You want to be checking out these tools now because baseball can be so profitable. One of the softest DFS contests. I've been seeing some Twitter rumblings. I was really, really sad that I missed out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm making up for it this Sunday. I'm going to be playing MLB DFS. I already put my showdown lineups in for golf. I put everything in. You're going to want to check out everything we have here at Awesemo, but just to check out the MLB right now is only $1. $1 for that MLB Express Weekly Pass using promo code FASTBALL. It's the best promo code we've ever ran. FASTBALL. No caps, no issue. Just put that in. You're all set. Check it out. Offer expires April 11th, so you've got 1 day. 1 day. Get it done now. Check it out. It's just $1. What are you waiting for? That is all that I have to say about that. Cincinnati, 3.9 implied run total at Atlanta, 5.1. We're looking at an Atlanta team. Again, 5.1 implied total for this team. It's still a ridiculous lineup you're looking at here on the Atlanta side. I really think that this is going to be a team I end up stacking a lot. Hunter Green, I know absolutely nothing about this cat other than what Fangraphs tell me. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about Hunter Green?
I mean, he's a guy that is getting an opportunity with Castillo and I think Mike Minor hurt for the time being. Mm-hmm. His minor league numbers are really, really solid, and Fangraphs grades a really good fastball for him. A 55 out of 60 rating on the slider, 40 out of 45 on the changeup. Command could be better. Looking at his minor league campaign last year, just 16 innings against lefties, but 23 strikeouts. So way more strikeouts than innings. That's a plus. 5 walks in those 16 innings. Maybe not what you want. Sub 0.9 whip. He looks like he is a fly ball pitcher against righties, 24 innings, 18 hits allowed, 37 strikeouts, but 9 walks. So these high strikeout guys coming in from the minors, especially if his fastball is graded like that, with his command being down, I imagine I'm just imagining he's a velo guy, and some of those raw velo guys have trouble with command. So it looks like if he's on, he could get us some strikeouts. If he's got the jitterbugs against the Braves, he could maybe leave one up. But the strikeout numbers are really, really good. And DK priced him at 9K. You seen this? So
yeah.
It's kind of a hard gamble to take right there. I will say he didn't allow a homer to lefties, or he allowed 1 homer to lefties in the minors, 1 to righties. So he was keeping the ball in the park, but he was a fly ball pitcher.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do with him. The nice thing is that there's just 0 ownership there. So anytime there's 0 ownership on a guy and there's a lot of unknowns, that's great. But he is 9K. He's not, down there in the 5K range. Like some of these other guys we've talked about, Kopech specifically, where you can kind of embrace those unknowns and know you can stack up some really good teams as a result. Sure, there's going to be a lot of ownership going that direction in the ways of that kind of build, but some overlap, if you will. But Hunter Green, I really don't think we need to be going there, especially because this. Go ahead.
He hit 104 miles an hour.
Jesus Christ! Why do all these guys have elite fastballs coming out now? It's just insanity.
I mean, you pull that over and give him a speeding ticket. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, you go to jail for that one. No doubt about it. On the other side of this one, now, Ian Anderson is always kind of an interesting guy to talk about, mainly because this Cincinnati lineup, I would say that I'm the most surprised from this team total for Cincinnati out of anything else here. I know that there's no Nick Castellanos in this lineup here going forward, but Ian Anderson, oh boy. I really don't know what to say about his last year. It was just not exactly what I'm looking for out of a pitcher. A 314 expected slugging, 9.9% walk rate, but 23.2% K percentage. I can get down with a little bit on this slate. Is Ian Anderson, amongst all these pitchers, somebody who sticks out to you?
I didn't have in my rough draft player pool, but he has a chip in the chair strikeout rate.
Yeah.
I don't think I can get to near 10K Ian Anderson, but on FanDuel, if I thought maybe he could eat me 5-6 innings, I'm fine with that. But I'm not excited. Ground ball rate's pretty solid. Has left him up to lefties here and there. So maybe a Votto or an Naquin get into one, but for the most part, it's one of those I'm lukewarm. The only thing that's keeping me away from him is 9.7K.
Mm-hmm. I love him today. I hate him. I hate how much I like him. I just think that I'm more secure going to Ian Anderson than if I'm going to be doing some of the double stack of like him and Freddie, like the expensive guys with a cheap stack. And my God, am I really going to be playing Cleveland? I don't want to play Cleveland, but I just think you have to be looking at him as a guy that it could go more innings, decent at like a mid 20% K rate here. I'm okay getting to it here. Limits damage for the most part. He made scheduled starts throughout everything here. He apparently had a big, big toe blister. I don't really know what to say about that, but he had left to start earlier, but I don't really have an issue for the pitch count. I think that it's actually going to be, a little bit higher than everybody else that I'm looking at below him. So I'm okay getting to more of him today. And that's not something I can ever really say that I remember doing much with Ian Anderson over the course of the last few years. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. You're like, cool. Yeah. Good talk. Glad we had it. Let's talk stacks. Let's talk bats. What sticks out to you here from the Cincinnati side?
I mean, Joey Votto, if he's going to take advantage of Anderson's, a little home run problem last year to lefties, not a big one. And then Tommy Pham, he's kind of a forgotten cause at this point, but being in front of Joey Votto, he might get some better pitches. And if he can get on, he's got a little bit of speed. If he had to get to a lane here, I think 2 through 4, maybe even 1 through 4 are viable, but it kind of falls off a cliff after that.
Yeah, I would agree. Did you see Joey Votto first ever pop up to the pitcher in his career on Thursday or Friday? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I also saw, if you get some time on YouTube, there's about 10, 11-minute video. They mic'd him up live in a regular season game. Ozzie Albies ends up on first base. It's amazing content, and they should do more of that.
Yeah, they should. But also, if I had to wear a mic while I was playing baseball, trying to hit baseballs, I wouldn't probably enjoy that very much. But the Mookie Betts mic'd up moment, is that the greatest mic'd up moment of all time from spring training? It has to be.
Yeah, I think obviously you have to be on defense to be mic'd up. That would be one thing, to be in a box and explain your process, but
yeah. There we go. I'm going to catch up on so many people in chat that we have hanging out here. We had the boss man stop on by. We got El Negro Loco, the news god himself. Best of luck in the NBA streets today, my lord. Let's just let's start kicking them back here early today. We're going to need it, my friend. We got so many people think, yeah, it's great to be back. I appreciate you guys. Really, really good to be talking baseball. I'm getting the cobwebs out here myself. A lot of tabs up. I'm like, this is a little bit getting back into the what am I trying to say? I don't even know. Back into the groove, if you will. Good to see Jordan Klein. Yeah, Twins. Yeah, all the good things. We're getting good to see
Jordan Klein in the chat. Oh.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything mean yet. That's a win for me. Absolute. Beautiful. Love you. Okay, let's talk Atlanta. Pretty popular over on the old FanDuel.com. I don't know why everybody outside of Ozzy Albies is under 4K, but whatever. That's just kind of what they're doing there today. I'm not playing there. I'm more concerned about the DraftKings.com situation that we have over there. You got Austin Riley batting third, 4,500 here. All these guys, 10% plus, the top 5 in that order. Who are your favorite bats to be getting to here?
Matt Olson looked pretty locked in at the plate. I've been watching a lot of Braves, stacking a lot of Braves lately. Austin Riley also looking pretty solid at the plate. And Marcell Ozuna's been throwing some rockets down the third baseline. So they all make a lot of sense. Like I said, I'm going to have some respect here for Hunter Green's velo here, man. You throwing 100 plus, that dog will hunt. So I think what we have seen already is that this Reds bullpen is not to be trusted. So if we are betting on talent with the Braves, we're probably hoping more so for him to lose command, start walking some hitters. Sometimes you put some ducks on the pond, you can create that big inning, and then you bring in that bullpen. Bad things happen to good people. So I like the thought of the Braves talent here. If I'm stacking them up, I'm just grabbing the obvious names, and it's not necessarily focused on the splits for Green here. I'm just hoping that the bullpen comes in sooner than later.
Yeah. So Alex Dickerson, I'm just asking you straight out. I mean, he's got some pinch hit risk, no?
I would think so, but I don't. I can look last night. I know he was in the lineup last night.
He had 2 at bats on the 7th, and then he had the full allotment 4. But I'm assuming he faced all righties in that spot. Is there pinch hit risk if they bring anybody in for Cincy lefty out of the pen?
Let's see. Reds yesterday used a bunch of righties. So the Reds only have, it looks like, 2 lefties in their pen, right? Brandon Williamson and Justin Wilson. Yep. Wilson's thrown 2 of the last 3 days, including yesterday.
All right.
Williamson has not. So I guess if they brought in Williamson straight up. But
now with the 3 minimum at bats you have to have, it becomes less of a concern. But just wanted to throw it out there because I think he's the one guy at 2,500, the one piece of salary relief in that stack to kind of make it a little bit more doable. He's also the lowest owned out of the entire team there. The lowest owned. Atlanta getting him on a 1-year $1 million deal. I mean, it's not 1 year, 17 million Cody Bellinger or anything, but Alex Dickerson, just wanted to throw him out there as a guy that I probably like just to make that stack a little bit more palpable.
Yeah, his lefty splits aren't even that bad. So I don't see why it would be a high sense of urgency to get him out of that lineup. All
right. Well, let's keep it moving then. Anything else?
No.
All right. Mets 5 implied run total at Washington 4.5. They looked like they were having some fun here over the week, weren't they? While I was away, Mets and Washington getting into it a little bit. Yeah. A little bit of rumblings, if you will. Mets 3-0, best record in baseball.
Lindor almost died, bro.
Oh, well, that's bad.
And then Twitter was like, pray for Lindor, and then he was in the lineup fine yesterday. So apparently you could take baseballs to the skull and be fine.
Leading off, no, he's batting second, but it would have been great. Highest owned batter here, but let's talk pitchers here first. We've got Eric Fedde. First time I got to do that this year. Was looking forward to it. And Carlos Carrasco. Carlos Carrasco, completely unknown, he's trash now.
It hasn't been great.
Not great, Bob. Not great. Yeah. Do we just talk and move on, or are you rostering either one of these idiots?
No, I mean, we still hope for. I'm rooting for Carrasco to get.
Me too, because he had cancer. Come on now.
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
Yeah. Fetty Wap, no.
Fetty Wap. I like that reference. That's better than my Fetty joke. Feeney action. Let's talk stacks, because that's really what we want to talk about here in this one. Mets, second best top stack percentage, but the ownership's a little bit higher there, 12.8% ownership share, 9.3% top stack potential. Looking down a little bit further, I was surprised to see Washington down at 2.9%, 3.1% ownership share. I know there's maybe some one-off potential that we can get to there, but starting with the Mets side, hard not to like everybody up and down this lineup. Lindor at the shortstop position really sticks out to me, but sticks out to everybody else here too. If I'm trying to get a little bit lower ownership share, I got to add some Jeff McNeil into my life for sure at 3K, 7.1% ownership. That's too low. I'm looking at him as a guy I'm going to be really heavily invested in, I think, in tournaments in this stack. What sticks out to you from the Mets side?
You're Jeff McNeely. Yeah, I think all the Mets are definitely in play. Eric Fetty's big contact guy to lefties, big home run guy to lefties, high average allowed to lefties, and then you can also leave them up to righties. So if you get through Nimmo, Lindor, Cano, Pete Alonso, he hit a moonshot yesterday.
Oh yeah,
with
Grandy.
With all the bases loaded. May or may not have the pitcher against him because it was ugly. But
I get home yesterday and I'm on the couch and my wife walks in. Like I said hi to my dog, my wife, and all of a sudden I have the iPad going.
Whoa! Your wife first, right? Is she watching?
The dog first. The dog The dog is at the door as soon as you like. There's no beating the dog at this point. But I don't clip that, Jordan Klein. Don't clip that. Oh my gosh. Jordan Klein, don't do this to me. But either way, we're looking at, I had the iPad, the computer, making lineups, watching the Grandy from Pete Alonso, fist pumping that. Played a lot on FanDuel yesterday, giving DK the old college try today. But yeah, she was not totally happy with that decision, I suppose. Yeah. Happy wife, happy life. And also no DFS, lots of stress. Let's go to the Washington side. Anything stick out to you here?
So Juan Soto.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
Nelson Cruz is pretty good too.
Yeah, Josh Bell's got popped. That's my lane. Soto, Cruz, Bell.
The lineup sucks. Like, it's not a very good lineup, but we've got Carlos Carrasco, who doesn't strike people out anymore. Keeps the walk rate down. Hard hit percentage, 38.5% last season, but like a 331 xWOBA, 257 expected batting average, 452 expected slugging. This is a guy that I want to target.
Absolutely.
It's sad. Because again, I cheer for him. I like him as a person in the world. That's
hey, man. We got to make money. I'm sorry.
I got to make money. Favorite bat outside of Soto?
That's not a good.
Josh Bell for me.
Yeah, Josh Bell. Although I'll say, Carrasco's home run problems the last 3 years aggregate, or at least the last two, has been more so to the right side. So maybe Nelly Furtado Cruz will send one across the wall and be like a bird. He'll only fly away.
I'm like a bird. I want to fly away. Nelly Furtado at 9:23 a.m. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
If the chat heard what y'all were talking about before we went live, Nelly Furtado is more recent than I don't even know who you were talking about. That's how checked out.
Who was I talking about? I can't remember. Oh, well, we were talking about not Vanessa Carlton. We were talking about Michelle Branch. Branch, yeah, her sister is absolute fire too. Anyway, Odd Shopper. That is the place you want to stop in order to get all your bets here. We're halfway. This is the halfway point. And it's timing this out like perfectly. I could not be doing this any better my first show back. Just pat myself on the back. But 30 seconds or less, you're able to click on the game we just covered, Washington Mets. You're able to sort by best projected ROI, best projected win percentage, which is really going to matter for my PrizePicks purposes. Love being able to check out all the great things we have over there. I alluded to the parlay builder that we have now also for PrizePicks, which is so great. If you haven't played over there, that's what I have to do here in California. If you have sports betting in your state, if it's legal there, congratulations, you won the lottery. Well done. Take advantage of these every single day. We're going to have golf bets added to the section. We have NHL bets, NBA bets. I'm definitely going to be firing up the NBA bet streets, later on this afternoon. Check out the Deeper Dive Live before lock. Looking forward to that. But I'm telling you, there's going to be tons of news in the NBA streets, and you want to be able to react to it fast. These are getting updated in real time by the guys behind the scenes, Alex Baker, Steve Buzzard, Eddie Lai, some of the sharpest guys, the best players in the DFS industry now are also in the sports betting streets, helping you make money here over at OddsShopper. So stop guessing, start winning. Join us at Awesemo, but check out OddsShopper because it is free 99. That is the best kind of 99 right now. Take advantage of it. Head over there today while we're doing these shows. All right, let's keep it going. We've got 5 games to cover. We'll do top pitchers, top stacks here to round it all out. But we've got Texas, 3.8 implied runs at Toronto, 5.7 going into the Rogers Center. Yes, the Rogers Center back in full force here. Saw some weird tweets from people back and forth saying, oh, Toronto's bad, however many days. Gundacker, are you feeling better about that? Because yes, I checked the Twitter streets. What was the ridiculousness that somebody said about Toronto plays bad over 10 years and why that doesn't matter?
Oh, we don't need to acknowledge that statement, but
okay.
It was
the dumbest thing I've ever read.
It was one of those gambling stats. Like, this team does this on a Saturday. No, it was just like a last 10-year sample size. Opening day in Rogers Center, I was like, that has absolutely no relevance to the day. But yeah, we don't need to give that any dignification.
Dignification. Ooh, I don't know if that's a word, but I liked it anyway. Dignification. We can trademark that one and put it in the old Hall of Fame. But Hyun-Jin Ryu back in the Dodgers days, sweet. Still okay, but 9,200. Are you willing to pay the freight against a Texas lineup that looks a lot different than it did once upon a time?
Yeah, probably not. He does keep the ball on the ground, or at least he has. Last year it wasn't as much as we're used to, but he's still not like giving up a ton of anything. We are getting more power numbers now. This Rangers lineup, like you said, a lot of power. Marcus Semien, Mitch Garver, Adolis Garcia, all going to be very menacing threats in that lineup, batting from the right side. So I didn't have any early plans to get to an egregious amount of Ryu. Right now, I don't think I have any at all. But if he fell, he fell. I don't mind it in the back end of 150. But I also like the thought of this Rangers stack, because I said it yesterday with EMAC. I think this Rangers team is going to win a tournament a couple times before people realize, oh, wait, they got some fun names on this roster. So I do got respect for this new look offense.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of fun. Even we've seen just the homer come into full effect. They haven't won either of these games, but Mitch Garver going long. I believe Marcus Semien, didn't he go long the other night too? Did I see that correctly? Getting the home run alerts on my phone when I couldn't do anything about it. You can't even bring your phone out to Augusta, so I wasn't even able to watch anything live Thursday, Friday. It was a bummer, but suppose I was watching the Masters live, so we're not going to have anybody feel bad for me. Corey Seager in this lineup. We're just going to see some more power going forward out of them. I mean, we had guys like Eli White batting up in the order last season. It's a drastically different lineup going forward, but there's not even a second that I want to spend on Spencer Howard more than saying his name. So let's talk bats here. On the Toronto side, it's just loaded. They're going to be just a team that throughout the season you have to look at. Top stack percentage, 10.4%. Ownership share, surprisingly, only 12% ownership share, not getting as much attention. I guess it's fluctuated a little bit since the last refresh because, I think the Mets were up around 12%, now 10.5%. I really don't see enough negative leverage not to have a ton of interest in Toronto. Are you with me?
Yeah, that that team has some pop. There's really no days off 1 through 5, so they're all in the mix for me. I wouldn't even leave out Matt Chapman there. I think it makes a lot of sense to be targeting him, especially against Spencer Howard, who has allowed an elevated average and home run per nine to righties the last couple of years. I think last year he was extremely lucky against lefties, a 4.62 xFIP while having a 192 average allowed. But that's neither here nor there because the only lefty in this Blue Jays lineup is Raimel Tapia. If you don't have him in your stack, you're probably not going to lose sleep. So you can really, really key in on these righty numbers. And there's a lot of righties in the Blue Jays lineup that are very, very dangerous.
Understatement of the season, I believe. They're just ridiculous. I don't even know. I mean, who's your favorite hitter from the entire lineup today?
Teoscar Hernandez has my highest bomb rating. They all have really, really high numbers, but Teoscar's there. I think one of the fun things about this matchup for Teoscar, he's one of those high power guys with a high strikeout rate. We can really neutralize that with Howard's 21% K rate. So a little more likely to make contact.
Dignification, completely a word. That's fantastic. Again, it sounded like a word. It was beautiful. So glad to, I'll tighten it up, Caleb. I think that's a great note. I'll take your note and I will give Gundacker a note that Vladimir Guerrero is going to be the best hitter in baseball long-term, and we should continue to be over the field on him in tournaments, especially if you want to take some shots on some of these cheapies like me. They got the pitcher position.
Duly noted.
Yeah, just saying. He's pretty good.
That's what you want.
That's what I heard. It's what you want, what you really, really want. Let's go to Kansas City, Cleveland, matching up here in KC, Kauffman Stadium. Look at me. I know names of ballparks. 4.3 Cleveland, 4.3 Kansas City. You're looking at a dead heat in terms of implied run totals here. Let's talk pitchers from this one here. We've got Cal Quantrill back into San Diego days made me want to just punch things because it just seemed like a guy that just cannot do anything other than limit hard contact and just not walk anybody, but there's no K rate there. For DFS purposes, not all that appealing, but then he would have these random 8-9 inning outings where it's just like you needed him in lineups, and he was maybe the most tilting dude ever. I have no idea what was going on with that. And we saw him with Cleveland last season, kind of the same situation here. Are you getting to any against this Kansas City team?
Any 9.4K Cal Quantrill?
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. That's now that you've said it out loud, I'm assuming no.
No.
Okay, well, that's cool. Chris Bubich?
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, but no. But we can keep moving. So let's just talk bats and move on with our day.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
I mean, there is you mentioned Kauffman Stadium. It's usually a pitcher's park. Today it actually has probably the best hitting environment on the slate. Over 70 degrees with the wind blowing out to left center at 20 miles an hour. So some of these lifted fly balls might jump the wall with an extra oomph behind it. So it could be a fun spot to target hitters. Quantrill, as you know, less than inspiring as he is to play, last year did have a 49% ground ball rate to righties. Just a 27% fly ball rate, but it's still over 1 in 4 batted ball events, get into the air. So maybe we can tap into that, and that 23.5% line drive rate against righties will activate as well. So I think we just take the chance on some of these talented bats here. Bobby Witt Jr. should not be 2,100. He just shouldn't be. And that's, you mentioned salary relief from the pitcher side, but this is salary relief from a hitter side, being in the 2 spot here with all this positive hitting environment going his way. So I actually do like the Royal stack. And I thought Salvador Perez might be a sneaky homer for I don't want to say sneaky, but he might be somebody to look at for a homer today. And I like the Royals.
Oh, I mean, it's hard not to. As you said, the other thing that you have to talk about early season, it's 72 degrees in Kansas City. That's drastically different than some of the other game environments you're looking at. Of course, in Toronto, you get indoors. That's useful. But otherwise, Philadelphia, 49 degrees, 48 degrees, I think, in Detroit. You're in a dome in Tampa Bay, but it's a terrible ballpark. Atlanta, 66 degrees. I mean, we're talking about the warmest game environment, 73 degrees now, current temperature in Kansas City. You got to have some interest in stacking this up with the wind blowing out up to 20 miles an hour gusts. That is going to be useful. Not generally a ballpark that you're super excited about, but I think Bobby Witt Jr., can we agree if you're playing cash first batter in?
Got to. I mean, it's just the opportunity cost is way too low. And like I said, super plus environment. And he's good, by the way.
Oh, yeah, there's that. He's very good. He's going to be the future. I mean, everybody's been reading up on him. Also, shout out Terry McBride, who just joined in here as well. They're both already there. Yeah, Acuna, well, of course, but Soto and Vlad Guerrero Jr., there's no doubt about it. Tournaments, getting some of those high-price bats. That's useful as one-offs, two-offs. Let's keep it going, shall we? I mean, I don't really even know what to say. Stack up both teams. They're going to be popular, but it's hard to really look at this game environment and not say that it's the best on the slate.
Agreed.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Seattle, Minnesota, my Minnesota Twins. So fun that we're talking about them. Just completely 0-2, just right off the bat, looking a little lost here. But Marco Gonzalez can cure a lot of problems in your life because Marco Gonzalez is not exactly the best pitcher that I've ever seen with my eyes. Although low hard hit percentage last season, 37%, but does not strike guys out. 485 expected slugging last season, 342 expected WOBA. Those are numbers that I want to be targeting here with my Minnesota bats. But are you going to try to take any shots with Marco Gonzalez whatsoever?
No, he just really doesn't give us strikeout or redeeming strikeout qualities to hope for a tournament winning ceiling. He's notorious for being a fly ball guy, usually somebody that's always going to project well to pick on for homers. We kind of have the inverse here, though.
Exactly.
Winds blowing in and it's cold. So he might be a bunch of warning track flyouts today.
Yep. And now we go to my favorite tournament pitcher of the entire slate, and that's Bailey Ober going up against the Seattle lineup. Bailey Ober is just one of those guys in DFS where if it's on, it's on. And if it's not, you're probably going to disintegrate into thin air. But I'm looking. Oh, did I just disconnect?
You did. You're good, though. There's your mic.
Am I back? It just clicked out. Cool. But anyway, Bailey Ober, favorite tournament pitcher on the slate. 25.3% K percentage last season, only a 5% walk rate. Yay. You know what's terrible? 42.2% hard hit percentage, 461 expected slugging. Not excited about those numbers, but in tournaments, when you're going to give me a guy like this that is going to be low owned, 6.8% ownership, I'm going to have tons of them. Are you with me?
I wouldn't say I have tons, but I have some.
I have 35%. That feels like tons.
It's always fun to watch a 6'9" pitcher.
He's very tall.
Yeah. I have a little bit, not a ton.
Okay. I just think, as you said, the inverse game environment, wind blowing in, freezing cold, why they didn't build a roof. Like the Metrodome was terrible, but growing up, going there, it was the childhood nostalgia of it, but it was just not a great stadium by any means. Target Field, I'm still just shocked every single day that whenever they have home openers that they're not rained out or, snowed out every single time. Glad that they postponed that game Thursday early for everybody playing DFS for those purposes. But I'm looking at this game environment as one that you just kind of have to have a little bit of interest in pitchers. Marco Gonzalez, I was kind of making fun of him earlier, but I still think that the game environment can help him out in this kind of a situation. Doesn't really have a great K rate, but crazier things have happened in the world. Let's talk hitters here. I'm excited to get my first glimpse of Julio Rodriguez here, batting 7th, but that's 2K flat for an outfielder with as much promise as he has from his minor league numbers. I think that we got to have some interest there. Kalenic, I'm expecting to be a lot better this season than we saw last season. Again, another one of their young prospects that I really like going forward. And Eugenio Suarez, we'll see what kind of version of him we're getting. But Haniger was resurgent last season in his first year back in basically 2 seasons. Ty France, Jesse Winker now into this lineup. It's a team that I'm going to enjoy stacking up a little bit later, but I don't know about today. How about you?
I got some fun names, and if you're that in on Ober, I'd probably hedge it a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Especially with his ability to give up some power. I say I don't want to overrate the wind blowing in here because sometimes that can get dangerous and you regret it. But if we were to just neutralize the environment here, I think it would make a lot of sense to look at the power of Winker, Jared Kelenic, and then Mitch Haniger is just a professional hitter.
Yes, he really, really is. Also, good to get the old nod from Terry McBride. Very excited to see you, my friend, and excited to be doing shows with you for baseball. The guy is as sharp as it gets. Glad to be on the same side of the coin with Ober. Let's talk Minnesota hitters here. As I said, just kind of the mandatory, have to stack them up because they're my team in a couple lineups. 4.7 implied run total, even in this game environment, tells you what Vegas thinks of the old Marco Gonzalez here. But we've got Gary Sanchez, Rip City to your former Yankee. Did you win the Donaldson trade? Yes or no?
Yeah, it's already got us a win.
Oh, it's done. Two games in, it's done.
We win opening day against the Red Sox. I never wanted Correa. He can kick rocks. So I'm happy. Obviously Donaldson wasn't high on the list, but I'd rather have him.
His wife's really hot.
You said it, not me. Yo, does your wife watch this show? Because you
absolutely not. You think I would be saying any of this if she watched our freaking streams?
Well, somebody can blackmail Eric.
She's not even in the apartment right now. I'm all set, baby.
Do you have a wife?
But the blow up doll outside tells me differently.
Oh
it's
my
fine.
God.
All right, let's talk my Minnesota Twins here. Buxton. Going, yeah, that was fun the other night. Stay healthy, one-time dealer. Carlos Correa, Jorge Polanco, up and down this lineup power. Kirilov, 6-hole. I mean, just get over the field. I'm left on left crime. I'm hoping for a little bit more of that out of him this season. What sticks out to you here?
Yeah, Buxton turned around 101 mile an hour fastball yesterday to someone over the yard. Should have been a special moment, but then they took the L, unfortunately. So, but with that said, hey man, you can send 101 over the wall. You might be able to catch up to a Marco Gonzalez. Let me see here. I have 88-mile-an-hour fastball. So yeah, you might be able.
So not great is what you're saying.
Not what you want. And like I said, Marco Gonzalez at this point, by design, he's a fly ball pitcher, so he wants you to catch up with it, and it's going to be more on you to send that ball out. And we mentioned the wind blowing in, so like I said, I'm going to stack the Twins here. Even Gary Sanchez looks like a pretty solid home run probability guy if we neutralize all the factors. I have Buxton, Jorge Polanco, Miguel Sano, and Gary Sanchez as 4 guys with a magic number in the bomb detector. So. They got to be in a stack for me, but I wouldn't be surprised if the dead ball wind blowing in gives us a lot of warning track power.
55 minutes into this show till I heard bomb detector. I'm disappointed.
Hey, Emac led off with it yesterday. I'm a humble guy.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm sorry. Emac's better at setting up his co-host than me is what I just learned, but I will improve as we go, my friend. I will improve. I will be better, Eric. Be better. I'm going to have some stacks of this team again. Even in this game environment, Vegas sees them succeeding pretty regularly at 4.7 here. I got to have some interest in these bats with as much power as they have absolutely everywhere. Also, Miguel Sano, play better. Be better this season. That's all I need from you. All I need from you guys right now is to smash that like button and subscribe button. That's how the transition game's done, though. And Awesemo discounts and the first crack at beta testing right now with the Awesemo MVP text program. Text 1-660-656-4417, which Jordan Klein will put in the chat or on the screen here in 2.8 seconds for you guys to be able to take advantage of. You will be able to automatically be entered to win 1 year of Awesemo Plus Platinum completely free just by signing up for this. We also have 50% off the weekly pass, discount available for the MVP program subscribers. So be sure to take advantage of that offer. That's a great offer. Definitely check that out. Texting 660-656-4417 or visit awesemo.com/text today. All right, guys, we got 2 more games. We got 2 more that we have to cover, and then we'll talk pitchers, stacks. I'm going to finish on my lineups, and we'll get on out of here. Pittsburgh, 3.4, going up against St. Louis, 5.1 implied run total. St. Louis, it's just it's one of those spots where a little bit better temperature-wise, 66 degrees, I believe it is in St. Louis today. Let me double check. Yes, it is. I can remember things sometimes too. Looking here at Steven Matz, though, on the mound on one side for the Cardinals, Bryce Wilson. Oh my Lord. Looking at everything. He limits walks. That's great. 6.8% walk rate, but a 503 expected slugging last year, 358 ex-WOBA. Yeah, I'm going to have some St. Louis interest today. Really nothing to talk about there in terms of pitching. Bryce Wilson, Steven Matz, definitely more the pitcher that we need to talk about. Can I interest you in some Steven Matz against a Pittsburgh team that's been so fun to target over the years?
Yeah, normally no, but the Pirates, when I'm looking at K rates alone against lefties, it looks a lot like the Oakland Athletics. I'm getting almost 30% K rates on like Chavez, Sasugo, Marisnik, Roberto Perez, Ben Gamel, former Yankee great. So like if he accidentally fell into a solid game of 7K with the park and how not great the Pirates are, for lack of a better term, I wouldn't be stunned. So maybe he'll make the back end of 150. Wouldn't be like a 20, maybe even a 50 guy, but I do think we can imply him for the win. Hopefully we eat 5 innings and maybe we get into the 6th one for FanDuel. But I think right now I'll put him in the back end of DraftKings, hope for the best. Aim for the bushes.
Steven Matz, 12.6% top 2 percentage. These are the kind of guys that you have to talk about in a little bit of detail. If you're going to play him, Zach Eflin against Oakland, who we talked about in the first game, Corey Kluber getting a lot of rostership against Baltimore. If you're going to play these 3 guys, just know they're very popular. You got to find ways to get different with your stacks, with your one-offs, whatever you're going to do, find ways to get different because everybody is playing this 7K range today on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, I think, you can kind of take all of these shots because, again, you get that 6-inning bonus, you get the win, lots of things for FanDuel purposes where I think the rostership on them is going to just be constantly a little bit lower playing over on FanDuel because you're only rostering 1 pitcher. But for DraftKings purposes, a lot of 7K overlap pitchers. But this has to be one of them. I mean, Steven Matz, Pittsburgh, it all makes sense, even though that top pitcher percentage is just not very high, not what you would expect. So he's going to be the guy that I'm a little bit lower on because I'm just jamming a bunch of Bailey over to get different. Obviously, we talked about that. Corey Kluber, I prefer. Let's talk this. Out of the 7K range, Kluber, Eflin, Matz, rank them for me on DraftKings.
Eflin 1, I'll probably Mats too, and then Kluber.
Yeah, I think that's just fine. I'm probably going to go Eflin 1 as well. No doubt about it. And I really don't have a preference. I'm getting right, upper teens, low 20% of the other guys, finding ways to get different. And we'll talk about the one guy in Freddie Peralta that I find fascinating that he's not getting more attention today, but I digress. Let's jump over to the bat side of things here from Pittsburgh. Ke'Bryan Hayes is a guy long-term that I'm going to like. I don't know if I necessarily love him today, although anytime you're facing a lefty, that is something that can work out well for you. What are you kind of seeing here in this spot?
Yeah, lead off Ke'Bryan Hayes, definitely going to get maximum opportunity to at least give you some fantasy points. He's pretty cheap. I think it's cheaper than he should be for this matchup and just the road leadoff spot. So if he falls, he falls. I'm not going to get into dedicated pirate stacks, but I will have Hayes activated in the pool.
Yeah, he's the one guy that sticks out for me from Pittsburgh pretty much every time. Brian Reynolds, professional hitter though.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to like him very much over the season. Not super enthusiastic. Maybe that's kind of my 1-2 that I get to a little bit more, running some 5-2s over on the DK.com. Probably get to a little bit there, but I really want to talk about St. Louis here. This is a team that in the top stacks tool was kind of a little bit higher earlier, but there's flat leverage. It's negative leverage for every single team by at least 1-2% that we're looking at above them here. 6.6% top stack percentage. That's exactly where their ownership's landing. Plus, I think there's some paths to kind of make this stack a lot of fun, where you can get some like Corey Dickerson in your life there, 2,900, and kind of work it from there. I'm getting to Dickerson the most out of anybody in this lineup as a result for that. A one-off that I'm going to be relying on quite a bit today. What sticks out to you from the St. Louis side?
Tyler O'Neill. He had almost a 17% barrel rate last year when he makes contact. His downside is 32% K rate against righties. Well, we super neutralized that with Bryce Wilson, just an 18.7% K rate to righties last year and a sub 9% swing and strike rate. So it's kind of maybe you guys might know the Mike Zunino effect, where it's or Joey Gallo. Yeah, this is a huge spot for him, and him batting third, getting that guaranteed at bat in the first inning. That's massive. So I would definitely be looking his way for a bomb. And I love having Arenado as his protection.
Who do you think leads the NL in home runs this season?
The NL? Oh, you mean just in general?
Yeah, in general. I mean, O'Neill's got to be up there in consideration. I saw a lot of bets on him in the early going. Again, futures bets are posted over on Odd Chopper. Just be checking in on those from time to time. You can see the bet details, exactly where to get them, where they can kind of land at. Talking, you could talk some of the bets for other spots. Just be on the lookout. I think more and more of those are going to be added constantly throughout the year. But right now we have like Rookie of the Year listed. We have a number of other bets long-term, but I'm just curious to throw it out there as just kind of a fun exercise to think about some of the power numbers. Tyler O'Neill, top of the NL for me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But Kyle Schwarber is going to be an everyday leadoff guy. That's a problem. I'd probably take that. Soto is always in play, but he doesn't have a ton of protection past Cruz. So I can get down with O'Neill, but I think Schwarber, if he's a leadoff guy and he's healthy, that's what you want.
Matt Olson's also a great one. Better ballpark for Matt Olson, I suppose, too. Good call by T. McBee. Newman is awful. Yeah, don't ever play Newman. Newman is a guy that last year, I can't remember. I think there were times where we were going through where it's just like there's certain guys you should just never roster in the stacks. He was like a never roster guy for me. I never had a share of him. X out every time. Terrible. He's going to hit 2 homers now today. Just watch.
Oh, good job.
That's how this works. Anything else from St. Louis, Pittsburgh for we make the home stretch?
Nope. I'm in on the Cardinal stack.
All right. And on the Cardinal stack, wise of you, I will say, because I'm doing the same thing. I can't believe they're not more popular, but it makes sense when you have this Kansas City game that I think could go completely bonkers in that wind, warmer weather than most other places. Kind of the San Diego effect that I know Alex Baker talked about a lot last year, where you just want to be cognizant, or you want to be conscious of where the best game environments are in the early going of the season. San Diego goes from being a positive ballpark compared to everybody else to being one of the worst ballparks when you factor in everybody else getting to 80, 90 degrees in the summer. So always be paying attention to it. One of those small things that I think can create an edge in baseball. let's jump over to the final game of the night. And the two best pitchers, I mean, Marcus Stroman, not for DFS purposes, but real life pitching has been pretty darn good from time to time. Freddie Peralta, we have to talk about him. 22.8% top two pitcher percentage. That leads the slate over on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, you got to find a way, I think, to just play him in cash. I know that there's some mid 7K guys, even though he's well, that's not true. I mean, he's only 8.3% owned there. I would be over in tournaments on FanDuel. No doubt about it. Not even spending a single second. I'd have to see what bats exist. There's so many other factors. And Matz, Eflin, Kluber, same 7K range on DraftKings, exists on FanDuel there, 7,900 to 8,300 there. All mid-tier guys that really make sense for that site. But Freddie Peralta, I find it impossible not to be over the field on him in tournaments today. If he's just going to be 26%, are you with me?
Yeah, he certainly, if all environments being equal, he's the highest ceiling of any pitcher on this slate, has the best strikeout acumen. It's crazy that he's a third-day starter. That's how deep they are pre-flop. But I understand how the field could be a little bit pessimistic after Woodruff and Corbin Burns failed. But, man, that's just baseball. I think Freddie Peralta, especially at that low of ownership, yeah, there's no way I don't get to a pretty nice chunk of that.
Yeah, I have 39% right now, and I'm going to probably keep it in that ballpark. Again, there's slight negative leverage, but when you look at all these other popular pitchers in terms of like what their top two percentage is, it's pretty easy for me to stack them with some of these cheaper guys. I mean, Kansas City's just inappropriately priced. I don't want to get too crazy where I'm just getting a ton of ownership on some of those guys. So doing some specific things to lower some of that ownership in some of these stacks, having some one-off combos. I mean, if it's going to be Brian Hayes, if it's going to be Jeff McNeil and some of those Mets to kind of get a little bit different, some of the lower end back end pieces of that lineup, you can find ways to get Freddie Peralta and feel pretty comfortable about the way those lineups look. Any Marcus Stroman for you? I feel like I never roster him. And I will just kind of continue to do that. And from time to time, that'll burn you on FanDuel when he gets deep into a game. But early in the season, I really find no reason that I want to go crazy with him. I have like 2% today.
No, he's a mortal enemy, bro. He blocked me. He has me blocked on Twitter.
Oh, really? What'd you do?
Something he didn't like.
Obviously. Did you call him short? He's short.
Nah, it was when Rugi decked Batista. Anyway. So yeah, I was sweating when he was in the conversation to become a Yankee. I was like, oh no. But yeah,
cheer for this. Cheer for this dude. That's always the best. It's just like, I hate Carlos Correa. Welcome to Minnesota, buddy. Glad to have you.
I'm also blocked, I think, by Trevor Bauer. So there you go.
Is the win the only reason we don't like Quantrill? We don't like Quantrill because he's bad at throwing baseballs.
Yeah, he's Cal Quantrill, and he's ridiculously priced on DK. I just can't imagine.
Because he had those random like 9-inning complete game shutout whatever's last year. It's what I remember from him.
Yeah.
It's just, I will lose those days and be just fine with it. I will not be going that direction, I don't think, here today. Let's talk. So, I mean, obviously, Marcus Stroman, any interest whatsoever? You've been getting like shares of him at all?
If he survived this game, so the Brewers do have a lot of 1-5 to 1-4K guys. Only Narvaez, Kane, and Colton Wong have a 20% or less K rate. So he could accidentally get some strikeouts, 11.6% swing and strike rate last year. Big ground ball guy. I know there was a wind issue in this game, but we can negate that with Stroman's ground ball rate. So I don't think it's a crazy thing, but at 10K, you're asking a lot. And, in the same game, I'd rather just put that as a down payment on Freddie Peralta and fine $300.
Again, 33.6% K percentage, tops from last season amongst this slate. 174 expected batting average against a Cubs lineup. It looks different. It looks a lot different. We'll just put it that way. Let's start with the Milwaukee bats here, and then we'll finish out with the Cubbies. Then we'll talk our top pitchers, top stacks, and get ourselves out of here. Freddie Peralta, I mean, I'm just in love with here. So there won't be a ton from the Chicago side either way. But Milwaukee, we've got Adames, we've got Tellez getting a little bit of attention at like 2%. Anything that you can still get to. Marcus Stroman, good real life pitcher, bad DFS pitcher. It's kind of a perfect storm to not get too much here.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. Like, this is if Stroman's an 8K guy, I'm in. But at 10K, I'm looking for some ceiling there, and especially with some high octane offenses that we can use that 2K with. So I'm expecting 5-6 innings strong of Stroman, where he doesn't get beat up, keeps the ball on the ground, and he doesn't get 10 strikeouts, hopefully.
All right. Yeah, I think that's fair. And then from the Cubs side, we've got Rafael Ortega. We've got Nick Madrigal from the family Madrigal. Anybody get that reference? I hope not. But either way, anything from the Cubs whatsoever, because I think you could probably play this Rivas character at 2K, batting cleanup. I'm okay with that. Clint Frazier, oh, your boy, now a Cubby, also 2K flat. I don't mind sprinkling 1 or 2 shares in.
Yeah, and on FanDuel, Suzuki, we're kind of getting the Bobby Witt treatment, where his price is probably too low for the quality hitter that he's projected to be. He had numbers that rivaled and actually were better than Ohtani overseas. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. And I think even if it doesn't today, just know that, hey, Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta, that's not the baseline there. So maybe keep them in your back pocket. DK probably has his price a little bit more accurate at 42, but on FanDuel at 2,400, Suzuki, it's going to happen eventually.
It's going to happen eventually. That's the best way to say it. All right. We got through all of that. We've got 5 minutes to go. Or are we going? Hang on. Jordan Klein has to tell me. This is things maybe we talked about before the show. Do we go all the way up to lock, or are we done at 1 p.m. Eastern? We're done it. Okay. We're done in 5 minutes. All right. So let's do this, my friend. Let's finish out the conversation doing this. Your favorite pitchers on this slate, go.
Freddie Peralta, Zach Eflin. Yep. I mean, those are my favorite if we're just really tightening it up. I do. Yep. I think you and Terry, I'm going to get a little bit of Ober, a little bit more than I plan to, just because I love you, and more so Terry, but you're all right. And then, a little bit of Kluber in the back end here. So a little bit of Mets, but I'm going to be pretty high in the top 3 or the top 2 there with Peralta and Eflin as my really big go-to guys.
Favorite stack?
Whew.
Out of 20 stacks, I'm just asking. Well, I'll do it this way. Favorite expensive stack, favorite cheap stack?
Expensive is probably the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap stack, man. I don't know what we'd grade. I guess.
I mean, I guess St. Louis is a team that I'm just getting too well over the field. I think that makes sense. I think Atlanta, there's not enough negative leverage there for me to really kind of be scared off. I think there's a lot of real quality major league hitters in that ballpark here. Let's do this. So we covered stacks in depth as we were going game by game here. Talk me through your favorite hitters position by position here. Let's talk the catcher position. A catcher at DraftKings. Who's your favorite catcher to get to on this slate?
Probably Mitch Garver.
Okay. I love Mitch Garver. I'm getting to a little bit of Gary Sanchez, my new boy. Again, these Yankees. My life is so complex. Carlos Correa and Gary Sanchez, I'm cheering for every day. Yay. Go team.
That's baseball.
Okay. Yeah. Vlad Guerrero is a guy that I just need to play tons of if he's going to be 15%. 6K. I'm playing enough Kopech to be able to get there. Going down the board here, first base. Who are your favorite guys to get to?
Miguel Sano's got a decent rating in the bomb detector. Jose Abreu's up here as well. Goldie, we mentioned him. What we like from Goldie, now that he's in front of O'Neill, that's huge. We also saw him steal a base the other day. So if we can get back to like Arizona Goldie, start swagging, stealing some bags. I'm in on that. Yeah,
sign me up for that. Those were great days. You'd just be like 2 homers, 2 stolen bases. Just ruining lives in Arizona. He was an unbelievable monster. I'd like to see that for him. He got hot for a month, if people want to talk about hot streaks last year, but whatever. Let's head to second base here. My favorite guy to be getting to, no doubt about it, Brandon Lau, 5,100. I have tons of him. Who's your favorite guy to get to at second?
Marcus Semien leading off against Ryu. I like that. And I'm with you on Brandon Lau. I think he's probably the most likely to give you a home run quick, fast, and in a hurry. Jorge Polanco, I like him. And that's the top end. I like the top end. And then Whit Merrifield leading off it. A lot cheaper. We can save $1,000 from the chalkier names that were mentioned, and a lot cheaper in that positive hitting environment. Yeah.
Third base, Bobby Witt is just a joke. 2,100. It's a joke that it's priced that way. But to get a little bit different here, I'm getting, again, Brian Hayes, 11% of him. I should have been talking about him a little bit more than I was from Pittsburgh. That's a lot over that 3% number we have on him. Again, playing 150, it's going to look that way. But what sticks out to you at third?
Yeah, J-Ram and Arenado.
All right. Shortstop.
Bo Bichette, he's pretty good. Wander Franco, Tim Anderson leading off against lefty. I'm in on that.
Yep, I'm playing a lot of the Wander Franco, Brandon Lau 2-man game. That's going to be that's the 2-man pick and roll for the NBA streets that I'm getting to. And outfield here, let's round it out. 3 favorite outfielders go.
Kyle Schwarber,
Mm-hmm.
The Bryce Harper, George Springer. I mean, these are premium names here. Tyler O'Neill, Lewis Robert, Byron Buxton. Like, these are all guys that I think are great plays today, but they are priced accordingly.
Yep. I'm looking at my boy Buxton. Hard not to like that. Schwarber. A lot of guys, the leadoff spot that are very, very popular at the top end. They should be. They're going to get more at bats. There's a lot of pop existing here at the top end. Getting very, very different. Alex Kirilloff, a guy that I think left on left, nobody's going to play. 3%. Gets completely unowned against Marco Gonzalez, who gives up power everywhere. All right, my friend, that does it. That's the first MLB Live Before Lock show here in the books. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, chatting, talking through this entire slate. Any final words for the people as we get out of here, Gun?
Let's see. Bomb detector.
Ooh, yes, Bob. But you got to give, the 2 home run call. Go.
I think Salvi looks pretty good, but as far as the straight up ratings for hitters, Sano and Mitch Garver at the top. And then let's look for a lefty, Bryce Harper. But I think Schwarber. Yeah, Schwarber. Yeah,
Schwarber, my dude. That would be my double dong pick. But Franmil Reyes, Cleveland, KC, going up against Bubic. This guy has just ridiculous power going back to San Diego. Last year with Cleveland. Franmil Reyes really sticks out for me. 12.4% ownership on DK. That's too low. Let's get out of here, my friend. Let's finish up our lineups. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you to Jordan Klein. We'll be back here later in the day for NBA Deeper Dive, NBA Live Before Lock. Be sure to check those out. He's Gun. I'm Eric. We're out of here.